Hi everyone and welcome to day 17 of Vinyasa Flow Exploring Props. So in the title it kind of tells you we're going to be using some props for our yoga flow today. So like before, we're going to be using a yoga strap. So whatever you used before, if it worked, grab that again. So that could have been your dressing gown belt, a scarf, something else that you may have been able to wrap around certain body parts to create space and also to help with alignment. We're also going to be using 1 or 2 yoga bricks. So you want to be using maybe some boxes, cardboard or plastic if you've not got a block it yourself. If you want to, you could use hardback books. I've used that before in some of my sequences in my own practice. I've also used like games boxes, just things that you can help create height. So you wouldn't necessarily sit on those. So maybe use a few pillows in the places that we may or may not sit on some blocks. Or bricks, I should say. And then you do have a yoga block as well, and we will be sitting on this one. So make sure it's something that you're comfortable sitting on that can help you create some height and find space in the body. So you could use a hardback book and then maybe a layer of a blanket, a folded up blanket over the top, or a pillow, but just something that you're happy sitting on and is fairly comfortable. So they're the 3 props we're going to be exploring today. Grab your water as always, get into your comfy clothes, lay out your mat, and let's get flowing. Hi everyone, so for today's class we're going to get going straight away into our sun salutations. So I'd like you to grab whatever you're going to use for your block. So that could be your book or it could be something else like a box of some form. So we're going to come to the top of our mat, feet about hip width wide and slightly micro bend in the knees. Take whatever you're going to use as your yoga brick in your hands, and as you inhale, scoop the hands up towards the ceiling, looking towards the block. Nice deep breath. As you exhale, draw the block all the way through heart center as we fold forwards and place it down on the mat. And use it to find some length in the body as we come to our inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're folding forwards, turn the block down onto its side, bend through the knees, place the hands on the mat and step back to your plank today. Option to lower knees down. As you exhale, we lower down towards the ground, hover off of the block and inhale to your back bend. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, tuck the chin in towards the chest, ripple all the way back to your downward facing dog. Walking it out here as much as you need to, nice deep breaths. Nice. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. One more breath. Okay, come to stillness. Inhale, bend into the knees, look towards the block. Step, hop or jump the feet to the hands. As you inhale, grab onto the block, turn it onto the side to find length, and we come to our halfway lift. Exhale, we fold forwards, really grab onto the block as we inhale, reach it up overhead, looking up towards it. And exhale, lower hands through heart center and release. So we're going to take the block now and we're going to place it between our legs. And we just want to squeeze tight so it engages the muscles in our legs. So most of the block or whatever you're using, it could be a rolled up blanket. It's going to go between those thighs and the most of it's going to hang out around the back. So we're really squeezing it together and that's the focus on this round. As you inhale, scoop hands up overhead, looking to fingertips. Exhale, lower hands through heart center in prayer as we fold forwards here. Hands towards the ground, let the head be heavy. As you inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards, hands to the mat, and we're going to try and jump back. It could be a few jumps like this, or it could be one massive jump back. Option to lower knees down. As we exhale, lower down, option to hover, and inhale to your back bend. Good. Exhale, chin to chest, all the way back to your downward dog. Still trying to squeeze onto whatever's between your legs, so your block or your blanket or whatever you're using for your yoga prop today. So breathing in, breathing out, any movements you need to find, that's okay. Just trying to send that tailbone really nice and high. Good. One more breath. Nice. As you inhale, option to take a few jumps here or just one. As we inhale, bend into the knees, look towards the fingertips and jump towards the top. Inhale when you get there, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards, hands to the ground and inhale, rise nice and tall. Hands up overhead, looking to fingertips. And exhale, lower hands through heart center in prayer. Good, so I'm just adjusting the microphone. My apologies, guys, it's moved around. So the next sequence option, you have either having hands back to where it was, so block between hands, or placing it back between those legs. Your choice, what works for you. As we inhale, we're scooping hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, we're folding forwards. Inhale to your halfway lift of choice. Exhale, fold forwards, hands to the mat, step, hop, jump back to your plank. Exhale, lower through chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, chin to chest, all the way back to down dog. Good, take a nice deep breath in here. And as you exhale, slowly bring those knees down towards the mat, untuck the toes. And if you've got your block between your legs, just remove it for a second for me. So we're going to grab onto whatever you're using as a block now. I'd like you to just place it in where the belly is, so roughly where the belly joins the hips. So we're just placing it there. And take a nice deep breath in as we're holding it there. So what we're going to try and do, depending on what you're using here, it might be really uncomfortable, and if that's the case, don't feel you have to do this. But I've got a nice foam block, so it's quite comfy for me. So as we inhale, we're folding forwards over that block and just finding it resting between those legs and our rib bones, our ribs here. If you can, take the hands to the mat and slowly shift the bottom up off of the heels to tuck the toes under. Breathe in and see if you can send the tailbone nice and high, still keeping the ribs and the block between the ribs and the thighs. So coming to a downward facing dog, but we're just using our muscles here to keep the block in place, to try and elongate the spine a little bit more. So you can find a bit of movement. If the block drops, that's fine. Just try and find that really nice tailbone length here. One more breath. And as you next exhale, lower the knees back down to the mat, untuck the toes, and take that block away. Beautiful, guys. So take the block wherever it was. If it was between those knees or between the thighs, put it back there. If it was at the top of the mat, place it back like I've done. Coming all the way back to your downward dog, so back onto those hands, tuck the toes under, send the tailbone nice and high. As you inhale, bend into the knees, look towards the fingertips, step, hop, or jump the feet to the hands. Inhale to your flat back, your halfway lift. Exhale, fold back forwards, and inhale, rise. Nice and tall, hands reach up towards the ceiling, and exhale, lower hands through heart center, and release. Beautiful. So if the block's between your legs, just bring it back to those hands for me. As you inhale, weight goes into that right foot, reach the hands up towards the ceiling, and slowly take the left knee towards the sky. As you exhale, send the left foot to the back of the mat, coming to a nice lunge position. Good. Okay, so from here today, what we're going to do is take the block into the right hand and then place it down onto the mat on the inside of the right foot. Take the right hand to the block and scoop the back hand up and over. The back foot can pivot towards the back of the mat, so parallel to the back like we do in our Warrior Two. Just keep reaching that left hand to the ceiling, looking to the fingertips. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. As you exhale, look down towards the ground. Switch the weight over from being in the right hand to the left and move it over, the block over towards the left side of the mat. As you inhale, scoop the right hand to the ceiling, look to the fingertips. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice. Exhale, look back down towards the mat. Take the block back into your right hand, and I'd like you to place it on the outside of your right foot, maybe slightly ahead. Slowly shift the back foot up towards the top of the mat a little bit, and then see if you can lift it up off of the ground as we reach the left arm up to the sky. Option to move the block wherever you need it to be to help you find balance here in your half moon. Breathing in, breathing out. One more breath. As you inhale, see if you can bring that back knee towards the nose and slowly lift up nice and tall, holding on to the block. Reach the hands up overhead and exhale, lower the foot to the mat and exhale, hands through heart center. Gorgeous. Let's do the other side. So as we inhale, hands scoop up towards the ceiling. Weight into the left foot as we bring the right knee up towards the sky. Exhale, send the foot to the back of the mat. Good. Warrior One. Nice. Okay, as we exhale, we're taking the block into the left hand and lowering it down towards the mat. Pushing onto the block with our left hand, opening up the chest towards the right side of the room. Right hand reaches up. Option to pivot on the back foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. Breathing in, breathing out. Lovely. 2 more breaths. Good. Okay, as you next exhale, look back towards the floor. Take the block into the right hand and move it over towards the right side of the room. We're going to come into a closed twist now as we reach the right or left arm, towards the ceiling. Good. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more breaths. Option to straighten that front leg as well if you'd rather. Good. Okay, as we exhale it back down towards the ground. Take the block back into the left hand and place it on the outside of the left foot. Slowly shift the weight out of the back foot so you can hop forwards a few times if you need to. And then see if you can lift both the foot up off the mat and the right hand to the ceiling. Again, moving that left hand on the block wherever you need it to go to help you balance here. 2 more breaths. Good. As we inhale, bend into the back knee, bring it all the way to the top of the mat and see if you can lift up the block off of the ground, reaching the hands up overhead, testing balance. And exhale, lower the foot down and hands to heart center. Walk it up. Just breathing in and breathing out. Good. Okay, as we next breathe in, I'd like you to step to look towards the screen, wherever you're watching me from, coming to a little bit of a side stretch. We're going to come to our Prasarita Padottanasana, so that's a wide leg forward fold. So turning those toes just slightly towards each other, slightly pigeon-toed, looking in towards the middle. Block in, hand still. Inhale, scoop hands up overhead, looking towards the block. As you exhale, I'd like you to stick your bottom out behind you and slowly reach the arms ahead. Now we're looking towards the ground, so nice long spine. When you can't fold forwards anymore, being nice and long, slowly lower the hands down to the mat with the block and push into the block to find more length. So you can find a little bit of movement here in those legs if it feels nice, or just focus on being nice and still. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Okay, you're welcome to stay where you are, or option to see if you can bend through the arms and lower down a little bit more. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. As you next inhale, lengthen those arms again if you folded forwards more. I'd like you to push your left hand into the block and slowly reach the right hand up towards the ceiling, coming into a little bit of a side stretch here in our Prasarita Padottanasana. Good. As you next exhale, look down towards the floor. Switch those hands over, so the right hand to the block, left hand to the ceiling. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice. 1 more breath. As you exhale, look back down towards the mat. Release the hands down, grab onto the block, and take a nice big inhale as we scoop hands up overhead, looking towards the block again. Exhale, hands through heart center in prayer. Slowly, we're going to heel toe those feet together, coming all the way back to standing, and we can say bye to our block for now. So just place it down wherever you need to. But I'd like you to grab onto your strap. So we're going to come to dancer's pose before making our way down towards the ground. So we're going to do it on both legs. So starting wherever you need to. If you want to hold onto a wall at the same time, you're welcome to. We're going to come into the weight into the right foot to begin with. I'd like you to create a little loop for your foot to go into, your back foot, and just gently place the foot in there for now. So we're going to be wrapping it around the front of the leg. So weight into the right foot, and as we inhale, we're just going to bring the foot out behind us, and maybe even the left arm reaches ahead. So pushing the foot into the hand into the foot or into the strap. And if you're like me and you've let your hand go a little bit too far away from where your foot is, just try and take it a little bit closer. So you're welcome to do it without a strap today if you fancy. But seeing if you can find that length through the spine. Breathing in, breathing out, 1 more breath. And as you exhale, gently release your hand down the strap and release the foot to the mat. Gorgeous, let's do the other side. So weight into that left foot and just placing your foot, your right one, through that little loop. Grabbing onto the strap with your right hand and pushing the foot into the strap to see if you can slowly lift the foot out behind you. Again, maybe that right arm or the left arm, reaches ahead. I'm really bad with my lefts and rights today, guys, so I apologize. And just finding that length through the body, Find your gaze, your drishti point straight ahead, somewhere that doesn't move. Good, one more breath. And as you exhale, gently release the strap, release the foot, and shake it out. Lovely. Okay, so placing the strap just nearby, we're going to head down towards the ground. But in order to do that, we're going to go through Malasana squat. And you're welcome to use a block here again if you fancy. I'm going to twist towards you so you can see. So just placing the block somewhere towards the top of the mat and taking the feet about mat width wide. Hands to heart center, and as we exhale, I'd like you to try and lower down so we come to a seated position on that block. If that means twisting it a little bit higher and sitting up taller, that's fine. So just noticing how it feels to be sat in your Malasana squat on a block today. We're just breathing in and we're breathing out and seeing what's happening. And maybe the longer you're there, the more you feel like you can lower it down. Take 2 more breaths. We're finding that length through the spine. And when you're ready, take the fingertips towards the mat, lift the bottom up off of the block, and just remove it away as we lower ourselves down onto our bottoms however you need to. So removing that block a little bit further away from us, and I'd like you to grab onto your thinner block if you have one. If not, just use a blanket, rolled up or folded up blanket that can give you a bit of height. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring ourselves towards that little block and just sit on it. And I don't want you to sit like completely flat on it. So where I'm at the moment, that's really like nice and comfortable. And it can be fine, you can work through that. But to make it even more effective, I'd like you to walk yourself towards the edge of the mat or the edge of the block where you're literally about to almost fall off. We want that sort of sensation that we are tilting forwards. So that literally tilts the pelvis to a slightly different place. It can help encourage you to come to a deeper version of the stretch. So we could do our stretches today without the strap if you wanted to. But if you want to take it a step further, take your strap and wrap it around the feet again. And you can bend the knees to wrap it around if you need to. Just wrapping it around the sole of our feet or the base of where our toes meet our sole of the foot. As we inhale, we're just lifting and lengthening through the spine and squeezing those shoulder blades together to see if we can fold forwards a little bit more. So we're not rounding through, walking ourselves down. We're just folding by squeezing the shoulder blades together. The elbows stay close towards the chest. Good, trying to find length through the spine. Toes maybe flex towards the nose so we can really feel that stretch along the backs of the legs. But what this block does that we're sat on really encourages us to fold from the hips rather than from the mid-back. Just seeing how it feels for you today. And then maybe you come to a place where you do want to walk yourself a little bit deeper into it. And just breathe in. And slowly out. Good, 2 more breaths. Good, as you next inhale, gently peeling yourself all the way up to seated, nice and tall. So we're going to do 1 stretch on each leg. So I'll start with my leg that's closest to you today. So wrapping the strap around the right foot and just leaving it there for the time being. Bending that left knee in towards your body and allow the left foot to come onto the inside of that right leg. So you've got that strap already wrapped around our right foot. As we inhale, we lift and lengthen. And exhale, we see if we can fold forwards again, similarly to how we did in our both leg forward fold rather than one-legged. Just breathing in, breathing out, and seeing how it feels being sat on the edge of a block or whatever you're using today to find that length and find that tilt in your body. So just inhaling and exhaling and see if you can get comfy for 2 more breaths. Good. Any movements you need to do, please feel free to. Good, we've got 1 more breath. And as you inhale, gently peeling all the way back up, extend the left leg and see if you can switch the strap over onto the left foot. And then same again on this side. So we're going to hug the right knee in. The sole of the foot comes to the inside of the left thigh. Toes towards the nose. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, see if you can walk yourself forwards. Breathing in, breathing out. Any movements that your body's needing from you, just listen to your body. So the way to develop your yoga practice even more is my classic catchphrase of learning to listen to your body. So when you have those little natural instincts to move in a certain way, just do it. So if it's a case of pointing and flexing the toes a little bit, or shaking the shoulders, or rolling the shoulders, allowing the head to rock from side to side, any sort of wiggles that naturally your body's wanting to do, try it. You might find it's the best thing you could do in that moment. Okay, one more breath. And as you inhale, gently peeling yourself all the way back up, releasing the strap and allowing the legs to extend. So what we're going to do from here is a bit of fun here for our hip flexors. Now you can choose to stay on the block that we were sat on before, so whatever you're using, or you can come down flat onto the ground like I'm doing. So I'm going to face you guys so you can see a bit better. And I'm grabbing onto 2 yoga blocks here. Now you can place them roughly out in front of you. It doesn't have to be particularly neat, but we're wanting a bit of obstacles here. So you could use pillows, you could use shoes, you could use anything that basically triggers a reaction in your body so that you know you need to go over those obstacles. So fingertips either side of the hips, and we're lifting and lengthening, sitting up nice and tall. Let's start with the right foot. And as we inhale, we're lifting the foot up and placing it over obstacle number 1. Next breath in, we lift it up obstacle number 2. Breathe in, back over, and all the way back to the right. Other side, lifting up, left foot down, up and down. So try to sit up as tall as we possibly can. We don't want to be rocking forwards and back too much in the body, but just going over one brick or one obstacle at a time. We're going to do 3 on each side. So this is the second round. Good. Last round on the right leg. Final round on the left. If you're taking a bit longer, that's fine. Just make sure you're breathing. And whatever you need to do, just have a breather, have a wiggle when you get to the top. And let's remove those blocks. Cool, perfect. So we're coming towards the end of our little session today. And you are going to be needing to use a bolster, rolled up blankets, pillows here, just so we can start relaxing a bit more. So I've got a yoga block that I'm going to use, a yoga brick, but you can use whatever you need to. And I'd like you to just place it behind you. So as we lie down, we're lowering down onto the forearms first, and then maybe seeing if we can lower the head down. Now, if that's too much of a back bend, take another pillow or a couple of pillows, and make a little headrest. So again, lowering down on the forearms, and then just letting the head rest there or the shoulders. And we're just breathing in, breathing out. Now you can let the legs be nice and long if that feels better for you in the body. Or we can keep the knees up towards the ceiling. I'm just going to breathe here. Nice deep breaths. And this is where we're staying today. This is our cooling down back bend. And I want you to just focus in on the breath and see how the body's feeling here. And maybe you decide that the things you're using to lie on aren't feeling the most comfortable right now. And if that's the case, what can you do to make them feel even better? Is there an adjustment to the placement they are on your back or behind your head? Or is it you're just needing something that alters the way you're sat? Could you add something in or remove something to feel even better? Good, so just breathing in, breathing out, a couple more breaths, closing the eyes if you can. Good. Lovely, one more breath in and slowly out. Good. Okay, so from here we're going to walk ourselves up onto the forearms but tuck the chin in towards the chest, and then walk yourself all the way up onto the hands and then the bottom. So the thing with props is they're so good for your yoga practice. You can really find different movements and ways to relax, strengthen and lengthen the body. But I have to say it's not the most graceful yoga sequence you'll ever do in your life, but hopefully it feels good enough that it's okay. So what we're going to do is grab back onto those straps or strap or whatever you're using. And I'd like you to just hold on to it by the side. We're going to be placing our foot through it in a moment. And I'd like you to just gently walk yourself down all the way onto your back again. Keep the knees hugged in towards the chest, the knees up towards the ceiling. And then what we're going to do is reclined hand to big toe pose, but using the strap today. So what I'd like you to do is bring that right foot in towards you a little bit more, and then place your little strap loop round the right foot. As you inhale, I'd like you to lift that right foot up towards the ceiling. I'm pretty sure we did this earlier in the challenges, so just finding what works for you today. So we're just lifting that leg up towards the ceiling, and use as much of the strap as you need to. If you want to, bring the hands closer towards the foot, you can. And what that will do is bring the foot closer towards your head as well. So just finding that stretch along the back of the leg. Now, if you feel like you don't need the strap today, you're welcome just to reach the hand all the way up towards the big toe and wrap the fingers around the big toe. But maybe try exploring today how it feels to use the strap. How much deeper you can go into this pose, still keeping that lower back on the mat and finding that release. Option also to extend that left leg nice and long if you want to. Good. Okay, as we exhale, let's slowly release the foot all the way back down to the mat and take the strap away. Take a moment to windscreen wiper those legs from side to side. Just breathing in, breathing out. And then we'll switch to the other leg. So when you're ready, we're going to wrap the strap around the left foot and send the left foot all the way towards the ceiling. Just breathing in and breathing out. And again, you can walk the hands up the strap a little bit if it feels good. Maybe extend that right leg nice and long. Maybe we can even grab onto the toes with our hands. But try exploring the strap today. How much deeper can you go into this stretch with just using the strap? Maybe close the eyes and maybe see what you can find here. What feels good for you today? Breathing in and breathing out. Two more breaths. And when you're ready, gently bend through the knee to release the strap from the foot and extend the legs nice and long. So taking the hands up overhead, having a nice big stretch, pointing the toes away from you, reaching the hands as far away as you can. And when you're ready, exhale, gently release. Relaxing the feet, relaxing the legs, relaxing the arms wherever they need to go. And just breathing. Good. Okay, so today you're welcome to stay where you are if you want to come towards your Shavasana. But if you want to take advantage of your props a little bit more, we're going to come up to a seated pose today. So walking yourself all the way up to seated and grabbing onto your folded blanket or your yoga block. And I'd like you to come to that seated position that we were before, where we're almost falling off the edge of our block. This will help us to find that length through the spine. We're just going to sit here for a little while today, closing the eyes, softening the gaze, and letting every muscle just relax a little bit more if we can. Letting hands rest wherever they need to. Maybe today you're feeling like one needs to go on the heart and one on the belly. Maybe you'd like to come to our chin mudra, so the index finger and thumbs touching, creating a little loop in the hands. Maybe you're feeling like you just want to grab onto the knees with the hands, or maybe place the hands in the lap. So whatever you're feeling like you want to do today, you're welcome to. Maybe you even want to come to our lotus flower pose here. So our lotus flower position, where we have the middle fingers, or the middle three fingers parted, and the little fingers and thumbs touching, as well as the base of the wrists. Just however you feel like you want to sit here and breathe today, let's do that. Eyes closed. And breathing in through the nose, and out through the nose or through the mouth if you feel you need to. If there's any sighs you need to let out, any noises or humming you feel like you need to do, please feel free to do it. If there's a mantra that you want to either repeat to yourself in your head or say or sing or chant, you're welcome to. Maybe today there's an affirmation that you just want to repeat over and over again. Maybe it's something to do with the practice, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's something like, I am worthy, I am strong, I am flexible, I go with the flow. Each day I'm growing a little bit more. Each day I'm becoming more and more like the person I want to be. And whatever it is, just sitting there and letting yourself really feel it if you fancy doing that today. Otherwise, with every breath we're taking, we're allowing ourselves to soften into our easy seated pose a little bit more, or into our Shavasana. Relaxing the face, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the back, the chest, the belly, hips, the glutes, the legs, the toes. Just take a few deep breaths all together if we can. So breathing in through the nose for 4, and then breathing out for 4 or 6 or 8, depending on how you feel today. So when you're ready, let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in and breathe out. So just allowing yourself to count your breath, 4, 6, or 8. And just begin to soften your body a little bit more. Good. And just let your natural rhythm of breath take over when it's ready to. Breathing in and breathing out. And when you're ready to slowly come out of your relaxation today, just make your way up to a comfortable seated position if you aren't already. And we'll meet with hands together in prayer. Take a nice deep breath in. And a long, slow breath out. Rub those hands together, create your friction, and when they're super duper warm and about to set alight, let's part them and place them over our closed eyelids. Allow the heat from the hands to warm up the eyes and slowly blink them open. Part those fingertips to let more light in, and when they've adjusted, exhale hands to heart center in prayer. Thank you very much for joining me for our Vinyasa flow, exploring props today, day 17. I'm very much looking forward to sharing more yoga with you that might be using props as a heads up, so feel free to grab onto them whenever you need to. As always, eat well, drink well, and sleep well. Namaste.